What's going on, Bottom Line viewers? It's Mitch here of the Bottom Line View with my SmackDown live review for May the 30th, 2017. And of course, if you watched the Monday Night Raw review last night, you know that we have changed the way that we were doing reviews. We're doing them more of a style of a movie review, more of a style of a TV show review. We're just going to bounce around. We're going to rant. We're going to talk. We're going to discuss the same way that we usually do, but we're going to do it in a more fun way. We're going to do it in a more scriptless way, and we're just going to flow with the show and only talk about the parts that I really want to talk about, because the product isn't very good right now. The product isn't worth going through every moment, every line, every word of every promo. So we're going to get over that. We're going to jump over that hurdle, and we're just going to have some fun with this review. And I want you to join me. So comment live what your thoughts were on SmackDown Live tonight for May the 30th, 2017. Make sure you're in that live comment section or that comment section below if you're watching this when it's not live. Let us know. Let me know what you felt of SmackDown tonight. Personally, I thought that this show was a little bit better than what we've been seeing in the recent weeks from both SmackDown and Raw. I've really been down on the product recently, especially last night. If you caught the Raw review, it was a pretty rant-filled review. It was a pretty frustrated, I think is the word, type of review of WWE. But tonight, I'm trying to be as positive as I possibly can, but I'm real. That's what you guys come to see me and watch me do these reviews and listen to me, because I try to be 100% real, and I try to give you my thoughts, and my thoughts that are in no way made up. These are my 100% thoughts. I keep it 100% real with you guys. And that's why I'm here to give you this SmackDown Live review. So let us know how you felt tonight. And of course, it's only me. It's only me today. No Dilly Vanilli. He's not here to rant with me. It's just myself. So Arian says it was okay. Trey Guest says decent show for WWE. Arian said a lot of long matches. But SmackDown is doing better than Raw, even though SmackDown has the indie wrestlers. Trey says anything is better than Raw 2017. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I quite honestly think that this, from a week-to-week basis, is the worst WWE television has ever been. Ever. Now, I wasn't around for the 1994s and the 95s of the world, the 96s. Well, I was around, but I wasn't able to watch it. I would have to go back on the WWE Network, and I've never really felt like doing that and seeing how bad that product was. I'm very familiar with the Attitude Era and the eras past that point, but I've never really gone to the lows of the 96s, the 95s, and the 94s. I've never really gone to the Raws to watch those. But in my personal opinion, from what I've seen in my life from 1996 till 2017, this is the worst WWE product I've ever seen in my entire life. Now, this show wasn't that terrible. I think there were some moments, there were some things that I did like. So, I can't hate all over the show, but let's just get into it. So the show starts off with the #1 contender promos. I thought this was a cool way to start the show, but I didn't like the way that they were executed. Now, this is my personal opinion. Again, I'm not an expert. I've never written a television show. I've never been a writer for WWE. I've never booked a WWE show. But in my personal opinion, I didn't like the way that they handled these promos. I didn't like the way that they were scripted. I didn't like the way that they stripped every personality trait, every charismatic bone in every one of these women's bodies in order for them to stand in front of a green screen and read a teleprompter. I know what a green screen looks like. I own one. You can see it right there. I also know what a teleprompter is, and I also know how to read off a teleprompter because I've gone to school to read off a teleprompter, and I can tell for the most part when people are reading off a teleprompter. And they were definitely reading off of something, because rather the acting was absolutely terrible and it was F-, or they were reading off a teleprompter, because we saw with all these women, whether it was Charlotte, Carmella, Natalya, Becky, Tamina, it was ridiculously scripted. It was teleprompter fake. And I just want WWE to let the reins off a little bit. Back when WWE was the most creative, was at the height of its powers, they let the talent have a little bit of fair play, whatever they want to do. If they wanted to change a line in a script, if they want to change the sentence or direction, they were able to go to the writers, go to Vince, go to whatever it may be, whoever was writing the show that week or year. They could switch what was happening. And I just think that this was way too not them. Like, when I'm watching a show, I want to see Charlotte Flair. I want to know what she's about. And when I hear this isn't Charlotte Flair, this is the writer that's writing for her in a very poor fashion. Now, the only one that I really thought was pretty good was actually Carmella. Of course, I'm a fan of Carmella, especially when it comes to her mic work. I thought she was okay, but the rest, I thought she was okay. Again, I thought all of them weren't very good, but I thought Carmella was okay because at least she has that charisma like flavor to her where she can try and put it over, even though it's very, very difficult because it's not very good. But that's how I feel about those opening. I like the way that they opened it. I just hate the way that they cut the promo. I just hate the way that they did it. Okay, so we'll continue on. We have the Kevin Owens highlight reel with Nakamura and Corbin. And this was, again, this is another problem I have with WWE right now. And it's the problem that they continue to go back to the well. They continue to go back to things that used to work, but maybe don't work anymore, or they just don't know how to execute. There's a reason why the highlight reel worked when it came out. It hasn't worked for a long time, mind you, because it hasn't been very entertaining for a long time. But the reason why the highlight reel was so good was because it was Chris Jericho, his charisma, his ability to talk, his ability to, take a crowd and put it in the palm of his hand and really work the audience. But with Kevin Owens, I mean, he's an okay talker and everything, but this isn't his gig. He's just taking this straight from Chris Jericho. It's like doing the This Is Your Life without The Rock, without Mankind, and without Vince Russo writing it. Like, you can't do something that you don't know how to do and then try and replicate it in a poor fashion. I just think that WWE tries to do the same things over and over and over again. When it worked then, and it worked for a reason, and it worked because there were certain pieces in place, and now they try and replicate it without any of those pieces, without any good direction or reason why. I understand that they want Kevin Owens to take the highlight reel because he beat up Chris Jericho and Chris Jericho's gone. But can Kevin Owens get his own thing? Can he do his own thing? Maybe do something around maybe he should be have this presidential office because he says he's the new face of America. Maybe there should be like a skit of him, similar to the way that you do the Fandango and Tyler Breeze skits. Maybe he should be in like the White House and he's talking from there. Like, can he do his own thing? Like, why does it always have to be something that's we've already seen before is my point. So I don't like that aspect to it. But Kevin Owens continues to talk about Jericho. He continues to comment on, how Jericho never won the match, how Jericho never did this, and he's going to do it, and he's going to win the Money in the Bank. Despite Jericho making the match, he never won it. My question here is to everybody that's writing this TV show, do we know for a fact that Chris Jericho is coming back? Because this awfully makes it sound like Chris Jericho is going to come and get his revenge at some point in time with the amount of time that you spend on Kevin Owens talking about Chris Jericho. Because I've heard Chris Jericho say, and I'm not sure if he's trying to fool the fans or not, that he's not coming back to WWE for a long time. So my feeling is that he's not coming back for a long time. So how are you planning to pay this off when you continue to talk about Jericho and Jericho and Jericho and Owens? Like, why are we keep talking about Jericho when Kevin Owens is facing all these other guys? Okay. So Owens' guess ends up being Nakamura for some reason because he's in the Money in the Bank match. I guess that would be the reason. He then makes Rockstar comparisons between Nakamura and Jericho. So now they're trying to push this Rockstar thing on Nakamura a little bit more. Corbin comes out. He calls Owens Eric Cartman. I thought that was kind of funny. Nakamura, his promo was terrible. I couldn't understand what he was saying. And when I can't understand what you're saying, it doesn't look professional to me. The guy's English isn't his first language. Let's not put him in a situation where it makes him look bad. If you want to get this guy over, why are you giving him a mic and asking him to talk when English isn't his first language? It doesn't make a lot of sense. And some people may be entertained by it, but I'm not. I don't find Nakamura's poor English style of promo very entertaining at all. I think he does certain things that are entertaining, but I don't think him trying to speak a language that he doesn't know how to speak, that's not entertaining to me. That's like I don't know what it is, I don't know, like somebody that's not from your country, whether I'm from Canada, somebody that's never spoken English in their entire life, and then they try and speak to you and they're at a job, like that's frustration to me. When you have a person that's maybe you go up to pay for something and you're trying to talk to them, they can't speak English. Like that is what it reminds me of with Nakamura, right? What else did we got? Zayn comes out. He comes for the save, of course. And this is another thing I hate. This was super repetitive. This segment was just super repetitive all over it. We have a rehashed idea of the highlight reel. We have Nakamura being the guest. We have Zayn and Nakamura teaming up, and then we have a tag team match out of it. I mean, how many times have we seen this? It's the same thing over and over and over. I mean, we have the heels that get no heat. They get beat up by the faces, and then they have a tag match. And then guess what? The faces win the tag match over the heels. It was simple as that. I didn't care for the match. I didn't even watch it. I just saw who won. It was Nakamura and Zayn. Let's get to the chat real quick. Okay, so Arian says, I hate that the 5 women cut a wrestling promo. Natalya and Tamina were garbage. The characters don't care about their character and don't make any effort to improve. Trey says, I just don't care about any of the 5 women. Where's Lana? I agree. Where is Lana? I mean, there's been a few they didn't even have a promo for her or like a vignette tonight. That was interesting. I didn't see one, at least. Maybe I skipped over it, but I don't see it. Why is Lana not here? Everybody already knows who Lana is. We understand that you're changing her gimmick to some sort of a dancing character. Why hasn't she debuted yet? How many more weeks are we going to go with Lana on this thing? Arian says Nakamura needs Kai Tai gimmick. Trey Guest says Rockstar. Really? Yes, he deserves to be on the roster, but Nakamura is nothing but a jobber on the roster. WWE shouldn't waste time with him. Bro, I lived in Toronto, and there are so many Asians. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you live in Toronto, if you live in, like, Vancouver's bad for that, too. Canada is a place where there's a lot of people from around the world, not only Asians, but other people as well. And we have tons of different races here, right? So constantly we're dealing with people. If you already raised a Canadian, no matter what the race is, if you're raised a Canadian, know how to speak the language, know the customs of the culture. And then you go to a store and try to pay for something and you're trying to talk something out, or I've seen it at a bank too, or like stuff like this. That is what Nakamura reminds me of. Like, I can't understand what he's saying. And it's supposed to be entertainment. Like, how am I supposed to be entertained by someone I can't understand? That doesn't make sense. Okay, next, we have the Usos in the ring for a promo. Now, this is an example of how to create chicken salad out of chicken shit. Because the Usos, for weeks now, have been taking the same material that everybody else is. Everybody's playing in the same ballpark. Everybody's using these scripted promos. Everybody is using these promos that Vince or the creative team or someone's giving them. The same person. Probably. I'm not backstage. I don't really know. But the same group of writers are giving the Usos the same writing that Charlotte's given, that Tamina's given, that Natalya's given. But this is the difference when you actually see someone that's meant to do this, that's actually talented, that can actually act. The Usos understand their character. They have charisma. And they can make this scripted material actually good. You know what I mean? So they have the charisma, they have the style, and I just don't see that with a lot of performers. The Usos are almost rare in this day and age where they can create this thing and get it over. I thought that the line, of course, I'm a Patriots fan, so I thought the line that they said, just like they thought the Falcons were going to beat the Patriots, nope. Thought that line was funny. And then they were like, don't nobody go hard like the Usos in this tag team division. And then we hear the New Day comes out. So the New Day is finally here on SmackDown. Why were they away from TV for so long? Like, I don't understand why they were away from TV for so long. That's kind of confusing to me. What did they introduce that's new with the New Day? Maybe a couple of weeks to refresh them. But why did you keep them away from TV for so long? I don't understand. Then, just for something to throw out here, it was Xavier Woods' hometown as well as AJ Styles. The Usos, they did the skipping thing, like the yellow brick road thing, which I thought was pretty funny. I love their lines, like just the way that their lines perfectly suit their character. Like, you think this is a game? You think this is a game, New Day? I just think that's funny. We got the tag team division on lock. And then they say, you're in the Usos penitentiary. Really, Big E is, in my opinion, the shining star of New Day. He had a couple of good lines within this. I thought the New Day was actually fairly good in this. I like the dynamic between both teams. I like the Usos character along with the New Day. Both these teams have characters, and that is what I like about it. And I like the total contrast between the characters, while the Usos are like these thugs. And almost like it's almost like the divide between black culture almost, because, you have the Usos who are supposed to be like these gangster thug guys, right? And then you have the New Day, who are kind of like those happy-go-lucky positivity, like preacher kind of go to church every Sunday type of guys. Like, I think that's a good dynamic, and it makes for a pretty good feud. I think you could add a lot of I think you could have quite a few good segments with these personalities. They have a lot of personality here. You have Big E, even Kofi to a certain degree. Xavier is great on the mic. The Usos are great. I love the way that the Usos have such great chemistry with the way that they talk, and they like one of them saying a line and the other is shouting, or the way that they play off each other. It seems like they've had this gimmick forever, which they've only really had it for a few months. So I really, really enjoy the Usos. And I thought the New Day did a good job in their return here. I'm actually kind of excited to see these matches because I think they'll be good. And also, I think that, this was a good segment. So, Arian is calling me racist. In no way did I mean it to be racist, Arian. I just think that that's just making an example. What else we got here? Arian says Usos were so good. Someone else said they liked it. Arian says, I lost all hope and faith when the New Day came out. Arian says, I love Big E, but I can't stand Kofi and Xavier. I actually think Xavier would be a great manager. I think Xavier would be a great manager or even a commentator. I brought up that he, should be a commentator because he does a gaming channel and all that stuff, and I think he's very good at that. I think he would be good. New Day had Fruity Pebbles color microphones. That's all I got from them. Usos were good. Tashawn said that was racist. It wasn't racist, bro. It's just facts. Come on, man. Trey says, hoping for a New Day breakup soon. I thought the New Day were going to break up a long time ago, to be quite honest with you. I don't know what they would do with the three of them, though. My idea would be that they would have a feud between Big E and Kofi, and then they would have Xavier try to choose which side he's on and ultimately choose Big E. That would be my idea of the breakup feud. We have Jinder Mahal in a video package, basically a video package of his last week's Punjabi celebration. I really, really like the part of this video package where they showed the impact on India with him winning the title. I thought that was really cool. The rest of it, though, we didn't really need to see. It was kind of just a waste of time. Then we had the Fashion Files, which, again, was probably the best part of the show, at least one of the best parts. And it was titled The Men Who Knew Too Little. I really liked the style of this one. It was completely different from any one that we've seen. And that's what I've really liked about the Fashion Files. Every single week we've seen something totally different from the other. I like the black and white. I like the foggy, look, the old school style of it. The old school, clothing that Fandango was wearing. I like the voiceover. It kind of reminded me of an old school TV show or a radio play, even the way that it had describing his surroundings and talking over without talking, but a narrator almost. I thought that was cool. I laughed at the point where Fandango went in with a water gun. I thought that was funny. I just think that these skits are like the comedy is on point. Like with these guys, it's very goofy, but I think it's funny goofy. Like sometimes you can be goofy and poke fun at things. Like WWE is sometimes too serious. Like we got to remember that this is guys wrestling in underwear. In a ring, fake wrestling each other. Like it's already a decided match. Sometimes you need to poke fun at that. And I think that the Fashion Files do that well. And I think it does provide some comedy to it. I liked the message of it, which was basically somebody's here. They're sending a message to the Fashion Police. They're sending a message that they were too close to the tag team titles, and now Fandango, Breezango, they need to find their next case. They're on to the next thing. You know, they didn't win the tag team titles. They'll do that again soon, but they need to find this next case. And the number one thing I get away from this is that it was just effort. There was effort put into this segment, which I thought was very nice to see. You know, there was effort, there was some creativity involved. They were trying to do something different. It obviously took a long time to develop, and that is what I like to see. At least they're putting that in there. To the chat once more. Where we go? Okay, so Chris Crypto says, "How's everyone? I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, Chris?" Aaron says, "Holy crap, I love the Fashion Files. Black and Ice was a nice change-up," says Trey. By the way, did you think the shadow was Lana? Because I thought it was her. It was definitely a woman. It was not Tyler Breeze. It was not Tyler Breeze, but I thought it was funny how they came in with Tyler Breeze. I actually had the idea of, you know, I think it would be hilarious if someone was like a manager or like a third member of this group. Like, I think it would be pretty interesting if they I think they could add a third member, maybe a girl or a woman or something. I think that would be pretty cool. But it looked like maybe Lana was standing there, but it looked like some sort of model. Like my first thought was like some sort of model that they hired maybe, or some sort of good-looking chick, because she obviously had the figure. So it was somebody that they hired, or it was Lana maybe. I don't know. Who do you think looks better, Alexa Bliss or Lana? I would say Lana. Arian says, "It was great. That's all I can say." You were about to say there was racism. Yeah, because I kept reading your comments, so I almost said that. What's next? Charlotte versus Becky Lynch versus Carmella versus Natalya versus Tamina. All this brawl happens before the match even starts, so the bell hasn't rung, but Charlotte's doing her crazy flip off the top rope. They're all brawling each other. Charlotte puts Natalya through the announce table, which I thought was a cool spot. It looked really good. It was just spot after spot after spot until eventually everybody's taken out. They're to the side. Shane McMahon comes out. He announces that there's going to be something historic June 18th, and it's going to be the first ever Money in the Bank women's match. And my first initial response is let Carmella win. Let Carmella win. I think it's going to be interesting because three of them could potentially win. You could potentially see Charlotte win. You could potentially see Becky Lynch win. And you could potentially see Carmella win. I don't think there's no chance or shot in hell that Natalya and Tamina win. But I think it's between those three. I think it would be the most interesting with Carmella. I don't think Charlotte needs it. I think Becky or Carmella would get the most out of winning this match. That's my personal opinion. Fashion Police versus the Colognes. I love that the Fashion Police do wear what they were wearing in the Fashion Files to the ring that night. I actually think that's a nice touch. And the Fashion Police end up winning their match. So that was pretty cool. Now we have an AJ Styles interview, very basic wrestling interview. Ziggler comes in and interrupts, and then they have a talk, and they build up their match for later in the night. Nothing special. Then we have a Randy Orton in-ring promo, which my first initial response and complaint about this promo is that there was only one. There was only one promo for Randy Orton. There was only one segment for Randy Orton. There was only one match for Randy Orton. There was nothing other than this in-ring promo for Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal didn't even show up in the arena tonight. He's your WWE champion. He's holding the championship that means the most to your company, and he's on the show one time. People talk about the lack of stars and the lack of talent, and it's very hard to get over when you only have one opportunity to do so every single show. And you only have one time every single 2 hours or 3 hours every week to try and get over in the minds of mainstream fans. That's very difficult. Think about a regular TV show. We see the main character in every single scene. Every single scene. And we see Jinder Mahal in one. We see Randy Orton in one. I don't really understand that. Now, as far as the promo is concerned, I thought it was good. I really liked it, actually. This was one of the better, like, in-ring promos with nothing attached to it, nothing sexy at all. I thought Randy Orton delivered it very well, first off, and I thought that the promo just had a very good, it told kind of a story a little bit. It told, like, something about Randy Orton. It told me that he respects his elders, he respects his past. He doesn't want to be known as the guy that lost to Jinder Mahal. He doesn't want to be known as the guy that lost to Jinder Mahal. He doesn't want to be known as the guy that loses in his hometown for the WWE title. He wants to regain that respect from his dad, his grandfather, from Harley Race, from all these guys that his dad wrestled with that were from his area. I think that this was a really good promo when he talked about that he doesn't need to tell the audience what he needs to do. He just needs to do it. He doesn't need to say anything. He talks about respect being a two-way street. Mahal wanting the respect, but you need to earn the respect. I thought it was a very simple, but it was a solid promo, and it made a lot of sense with Randy Orton. I just liked it. And it told, something that they haven't relied on a lot with Randy Orton is his bloodlines. They haven't done that for a long, long time. So I think this in a way, him representing, that hard working old school style of American that we all know, compared to Jinder Mahal, who's the Indian guy. He's trying to be this new thing. He's trying to be this new era. And then I like the way that they bounced off of it with the Jinder Mahal promo. He appears on the screen. He tells the story. He's like, you tell the stories of a bygone era. America is at an all-time low. The United States are dying. And he talks about how India is thriving. And Jinder Mahal is the present. Jinder Mahal is the future. I really like that compared to the contrast between the two. And it made sense coming together. But again, only one segment with the world champion and the number one contender. That pisses me off. But I thought that the promo was good. So before we get to the main event, which I have really nothing to say about, I want to know what you guys think. So I'm going to head to the chat. Chris says Charles Flair is boring as hell. Arian says, man, Charles needs to stop with the backflip. Carmella with 6 arrows or 7 or more than that. CM Punk says Charlotte is taking over this women's division because she's really talented. I think Charlotte is talented too. I agree with you. I think Charlotte is talented. Some people in this chat don't, but I do think she is. Aaron says, why in the hell is Carmella the most charismatic woman on the roster? James Ellsworth as her partner and manager. I don't know. I don't even think James Ellsworth should be on TV, to be quite honest with you. The top feud should be on the beginning, the middle, and the end of the show. I agree, Arian. Chris says she's a garbage promo most of the time, terribly botchy, and got way too reliant on spots. The one thing I wish that Charlotte would do less is trying to break her neck and doing that flip off the top rope. I mean, you could do it for pay-per-views and certain big events and big shows, but when you do it consistently like that, it doesn't make it any special, any more special. It takes the special away from it. I think that it also, you can go and break your neck doing that move. Like, why do you need to do that move? Save yourself. Chris says she's a oh yeah, I already read that. Aaron says, I love the Orton segment. He was very believable and it felt like someone wanted to win it. Weird fact, I would be UFC champion if there was a punching bag with Dave Meltzer's face on it. Why the hell was the event? I don't understand what you mean. Okay, getting to the main event. AJ Styles versus Dolph Ziggler. Don't understand why this was the main event. It didn't make any sense to me. Dolph Ziggler and AJ Styles really have no beef whatsoever. They're in the Money in the Bank match, but it again, why would someone be interested in this match? There are no stakes. There is no reason to tune in. There is nothing that you could potentially follow this, or nobody could really come in and break this matchup that would really intrigue you. Like, what is the intriguing part about making this the last thing on your show? The lasting impact on your show is Dolph Ziggler beating AJ Styles. Like, that doesn't make sense to me at all. That's my personal opinion. Whoever booked this has a different reason for doing that. I don't get it personally, but, you know, whatever. So that's pretty much SmackDown Live for May the 30th, 2017. I don't really have much more to say than I've already said. Pretty much covered every single segment that I could. I did it a little bit differently than I usually do, so I hope you guys do enjoy that. Dylan will be back very soon. He'll probably be back on the Raw review. Or I think Extreme Rules is this Sunday, right? So I think we'll be having an Extreme Rules pay-per-view review. It will only be myself, though, I think, but it will be coming late. So don't expect a Extreme Rules review like right after the pay-per-view ends, because I do have a lacrosse game. So once I get home from lacrosse and get situated, I'll have to watch the show, and then I'll have to review it. So it will be pretty late, probably around like, trying to think, like probably like 10 or 11 Pacific time. I'll be booking it. I'll be doing it on live on Google Hangouts as I usually do. But if you guys miss it live, just come back the next day and watch it, you know. Hopefully Extreme Rules is good. I'm hoping it is good. I think that main event could be really, really good in terms of a match. I hope that, again, Bray wins. I think that would be probably the best guy to win. I wouldn't mind Roman, but I think they're saving that for WrestleMania. Also, I don't really know who else could win that match. I mean, people are trying to cheer for Finn Balor to win that match, but it doesn't make much sense to me unless something crazy happens where Finn Balor gets like the club with him, or like gets some help against Brock Lesnar. There is no logical way that Finn Balor could beat Brock Lesnar in a one-on-one match. So I'm hoping for Bray Wyatt, because I think that could really help Bray Wyatt. And I also think that could create a very good feud with Paul Heyman and Bray Wyatt having some epic promos. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully Bray Wyatt and Brock Lesnar. But CM Punk says Nakamura needs a manager like Paul. That's it. I think so too. I said the same thing a while back. Do you think AJ will do well with the redneck gimmick? I think AJ is doing okay at this point in time. Chris says, nah, Heyman is too repetitive. I don't mean that he should be not. I'm not saying that Nakamura should have Heyman as his manager, but someone like Heyman. It doesn't have to be Heyman, but someone like Heyman. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Thanks, guys, for joining me for this WWE Smackdown Live May the 30th, 2017 review and reaction. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button. Lets me know you're enjoying these reviews. We're going to continue these reviews because we have had some people say we enjoy your reviews. You know, I was borderline going to quit them, but people want to see them. So I'm going to continue to see them, or I'm continue to see it out and continue to do it. Also, WWE GM mode coming tomorrow for sure. It was supposed to be today, but tomorrow it's coming because that's when me and Dylan can really do it. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do it tomorrow night. So make sure you're tuned in for WWE GM mode. Me and Dylan having some fun surrounding wrestling. So thanks, guys, for joining us and joining me. Peace out.